signs you could have stayed. It's only over when the day is done. I never knew you was a runner, yeah. I mistook you for a son. It don't matter what we think when it's all over. 'Cause this is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah. This is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah.
Archie, is it fun?
Fun.
Fun.
After me. Ready? Happy?
Happy.
New?
New?
New.
Was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through colored glass, time rolls on enough to let me move on past, but every little now and then it creeps on back to shape my smile.
I don't know if I should share this part as well on my other channel. All right, so this is politics. Okay, retweet this 1,000 times. Let's listen to it. I will be stopping in between. It's only 1 minute and 12 seconds.
The kind of slash and burn politics that we're seeing right now, that doesn't have to be who we are. We can be better. And it has nothing to do, by the way, with political correctness or being too woke. It's about fundamental values that my grandparents from Kansas taught me.
That I have found is if you don't listen to all the noise out there and you just focus on living a purpose-driven life and you focus on knowing what your own moral compass is, there are always going to be naysayers. And the moment that you are able to be liberated from all of these other opinions of what you know to be true, then I think it's very easy to just live with truth and live with authenticity. And that's how I choose to move through the world.
Sort of the flawed argument and its operating mechanism that they're confusing people to think. So it's about boundaries and it's about respect. They've created a false narrative.
Couple things as you listen to Obama. Listen to his tone of voice. You could see or you could hear, based on his tone of voice, truly genuine, right from the heart. And it is very fundamental. Basic human dignity. Show respect to other fellow human being. And this is what I've been saying many times on my channel, all right? Because YouTube really thought my channel was there for the money. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dismissing the fact about money. We always need money, okay? I need money, but the channel was not about that. So they've done a lot of things to my channel thinking I will just, I'm here for the money. Let me go bash Meghan. No, that wasn't my original principle or idea for creating the channel. It wasn't even supposed to be about Harry and Meghan at all. But when you see injustice, okay, somebody have to speak up. The whole freaking country, and they were trying to make the world against that woman who did absolutely nothing wrong. I might go off a little bit, but basic decency, okay? I'm moving it back slightly.
Values that my grandparents from Kansas taught me. Values I grew up with. Values you grew up with. Values we try to teach our kids.
There it is.
Values we learn in churches and mosques and synagogues and temples. Honesty, fairness,
thank you,
opportunity, hard work. Values that Josh Shapiro and John Fetterman stand for. Values that Joe Biden stands for.
This is exactly what Meghan stands for. Truth, core values. And look at this. You would have thought being in that institution where money, well, she will not have access to it, but you would have think just because of the name, before we really knew what the royal family was all about, you would think some people would rather risk their core values. I've been saying this ever since I started covering her. You would think she would give her true self, her core values, just to have a name royal next to her or whatever. But she left everything. But anyway, and that's pretty much what she stands for. Hard work. That's the thing the royal family needs to understand. This is what Meghan is all about. And there's President Obama. It's pretty much putting it in word what pretty much most Americans stands for. All right, I move it back slightly. Truth, core values, and all of that.
Hard work. Values that Josh Shapiro and John Fetterman stand for. Values that Joe Biden stands for. Values that were enshrined in our founding documents a few miles from here. A clarion call for freedom and equality that Philly's own Liberty Bell represents.
Yeah, I took my kids to see the Liberty Bell. That was before the pandemic. Probably maybe 17, 18, right before the pandemic.
That's what America stands for.
There it is.
That's who we are. So if you...
Oh man, I wish I could hear more, but when I saw this and I said I have to share it. All right, let's see here. All right, that's that. By the way, that Moscow Mitch McConnell is pretty much, I think that's what they call him, Mitch McConnell. They may, it's originated on that. Okay, he's an introvert. I know much it takes for him to show up and do this. No matter how easy he makes it look, I will always admire this great American. Okay, it's fascinating how many truly exceptional speakers are actually introverts. I, for one, am deeply grateful for his sacrifice. I love him. Yeah, I spoke about it in one of my videos. He said usually when there's a president out there, okay, after him or whatever, it's respectful to just stay back, don't do all of this. But right now, our democracy is at stake. It's very troubling to see how false reporting have clouded the mind. So he came out to help the Democrats to remind people, look, this is where we are, this is what we are, and this is where we might end up if we don't go out and vote.
Absolutely. I mean, we are in a pivotal moment in history. The centennial of the 19th Amendment, which is upon us, extended the right to vote to white women. The asterisk in our logo is a signal of how far we have left to go. It took another 4 decades for women of color to be extended the same rights. In many states in this country, honestly, voter suppression is still a thing, and women are struggling yet to have their voices heard. So I think this moment, this anniversary is so critical. We hope to be one piece of the pie of giving women the representation and the elevation of voice that they deserve.
And I didn't realize that that's why you have the asterisk. That makes complete sense. I love that because it's that just sort of addendum to what we're celebrating, but with the same awareness that it's not fully a celebration. There is still so much work to do. And you think about the Voting Rights Act and how even at this point, I was having this conversation just yesterday, it feels like we make so many strides forward, and yet there's still so much more to do.
All right, I love him, yes, and this guy too, and Stacey Abrams, and Mayor Pete, and Ralph Warnock, and Valdemar, and Gavin Newsom, so many great heads of hearts who are literally running on and for the value people share, not end of world paranoia. Yep. All right, let me hear him. All right, let's see it. This speech by Judge Shapiro calling out Republican hypocrisy on freedom should be studied by every Democrat. Okay, 1 minute and 40 seconds. All right, this is extra. I didn't know they have that one. It looks like it's the same same place where President Obama. There's this guy here. Let's see. Yep, same guy, same place. There's a guy in red. That's him here. All right, so let's listen again.
That's not how we do things in this Commonwealth or in this country. And that is not freedom. You know, this guy loves to talk a good game about freedom, right? Let me tell you something. It's not freedom to tell women what they're allowed to do with their bodies. That's not freedom. It's not freedom to tell our children what books they're allowed to read.
And that comes with history. All right, they're preventing history being taught. Certain quality, what makes America what it is now. History. I spoke about all of this on my channel. Okay, for some reason, those topics usually popped up. We need to know history, whether you like it or not. Your father is not responsible for what his great-grandfather did back in the days, but you need to know it. People need to know it. Why? That way we don't repeat it again. Okay? So this is why history is very important. It's not flattering. Nobody likes to hear what their great-grandfather did, that was bad. Okay? Nobody likes that. But nobody in your current space or current time is blaming you for your great-grandfather thing. But we will definitely blame you if you're repeating it again. That's the thing many young white men or women need to understand. We are not blaming you for your forefathers' stupidity. But if you keep on repeating it, then we will blame you for your own personal action. History needs to be taught.
He gets to decide who you're allowed to marry. I say love is love.
The last video that I was editing, and I think Dwayne Wade came into the conversation and all of that. So go listen to it. I don't want to repeat it again.
It's not freedom to say you can work a 40-hour work week, but you can't be a member of a union. That's not freedom.
And let's not forget, all of this I spoke about, okay, in some shape or form. I don't know why they come up in my conversation on my podcast, but when I read some tweets, certain things popped up. They've been at destroying union for a very long time, okay, because together, when people are together, they fight together, okay, they make their, whatever they're trying to do to individual workers, impossible. Okay, so when there is union, it's good to help create a voice of reasoning for the workers. And if we do jump that hurdle that we are in right now, because this is our fight right now, my fight, your fight, everybody else's fight. If we jump that hurdle, we have to make sure to continue to reverse all the stupidity they put in the laws. And that takes courage. You think, let's say if those Republicans lose, you think they're going to stop? They're not going to stop because they want what they want and they're going to fight for it. So if we jump that hurdle, we need to keep on fighting. Make sure we vote every election. All right, so let's continue.
And it sure as hell isn't freedom to say you can go vote, but he gets to pick the winner. That's not freedom. That's not freedom. But you know what? You know what we're for?
You know what just remind me when he just said about the vote thing? What happened? Was it 2000? Where the Supreme Court had to intervene and things like that with what happened in Florida. That's what pops up in my mind. And, you know, of course, the 2020 election, he was trying to steal that election. But let's listen.
We're for real freedom. And let me tell you what real freedom is. Real freedom is when you see that young child in North Philly and you see the potential in her, so you invest in her public school. That's real freedom. That's real freedom. Real freedom comes when we invest in that young child's neighborhood to make sure it's safe so she gets to her 18th birthday. That's real freedom.
All right, so I didn't know these videos were there. Let's see. Wow, I'm impressed. Wow, powerful and inspiring. President Barack Obama is a great orator. Thanks for sharing. Okay, let's get more viewers, over 1 million soon. Is that the same one? Let's see here if it's the same thing.
The kind of slash and burn politics that we're seeing right now, that doesn't have to be who we are.
I think it's the same thing.
We can be better. And it has nothing to do, by the way, with political correctness or being too woke.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Fundamental values that my grandparents from Kansas taught me.
Yeah, that's the same one.
Values I grew up with, values you grew up with, values we try to teach our kids, values we learn in churches and mosques and synagogues and temples, honesty.
It's so funny that, well, it's not funny, but just reflection, that he mentioned all of those religion. This is what America is, this kind of thing. But for some reason, those people, I don't know, the mind is so empty, and they easily get infiltrated with negativity. All right, so we listened to that already, so I'm not gonna continue playing. You know what, for the sake of it, let's finish it again.
Fairness, opportunity, hard work, values that Josh Shapiro and John Fetterman stand for, values that Joe Biden stands for, values that were enshrined in our founding documents a few miles from here, a clarion call for freedom and equality that Philly's own Liberty Bell represents. That's what America stands for.
You could see he's talking right from the heart.
That's who we are. So if
Yeah, you could see he's talking really from the heart. Okay, that's how you speak the truth. Spoken from heart, retweet 1,000 times. Okay, I'm fascinated by Obama's powerful speeches, his pace, his charisma, his overall delivery, but he is also one of the most handsome men I have ever laid eyes on. He's just full of swag and bite. Okay, wow, powerful. Okay, so people are retweeting it. Same thing again. All right, there's this. Wow, just wow. Vote. So let me so that was all of them here. Biden was there too. That's what America stands for. That's who we are. I didn't see that speech, so if they didn't share it, I would not know. All right, this is the veteran who's running against Dr. Oz, and in one video I came across where they were saying something Oprah should come out and denounce Dr. Oz. In my mind, I was like, but sometimes, you know, I was sort of like, she doesn't have to, you know, someone she pays to work for her based on whatever it was. I forgot exactly what I said. But sometimes I realize people needs to be reminded, because there's a lot of things that you realize, you will assume other people will realize it because it's so basic, but sometimes people needs to be reminded. And I have a video also that about Oprah who's denouncing Dr. Oz. All right, so I didn't even know Biden was there, and this guy comes across as just regular working class. That's his persona, and that's how he presents himself in Pennsylvania. Yeah, so that's that. Let me bookmark this for thumbnails. Okay, let's go to the next tweet, and I'm not gonna play the video again. All right, but I wanted to read some of the comment. let's see here. Okay, I was there. It was packed and electrifying. The energy was red hot. Best part, besides the fabulous four, was that there were so many young people, like in their 20s. Yes, it was on Temple campus, but that didn't guarantee attendance. Philly showed up and out. All right, let me read 8 comments under that. Okay, so she was there. Okay, awesome. I cry watching it. That's my former president. That's my president. Okay, actually, Mark Cuban has it right. That is all about generation that went astray. Yeah. Thank you for sharing the vibe. It lifted me up, but I'm still afraid. I'll be working a poll site on Tuesday, and I'll be holding my breath until all the results are in. Yeah, never lose sight of the thing, because they're not giving up. How do you see through the BS? Obama is a CIA creation. Oh, God. You see, these people still had to, please get help. I don't even need to finish with that. But I prefer Obama than what we saw. I've shared the examples. How did we come from Obama to have Trump? And one example I still can't believe is that old man, those police out of nowhere, so they had to push him. He hit his head on the concrete. The back of his head was bleeding. How did we come from that? And then we seeing police like a freaking, I don't know. It seems like it was a movie. You see all those police with gears like they're going to war. For what? For what? And then you have a former president who was thinking of people who were protesting. What kind of a world is that? My goodness. I mean, I didn't share this. If you weren't following, how do you call this? If you were not paying attention, you would not know. But that was the thing. All right, great leaders bring out the best in all of us. I'm a Democrat because our leaders, our elected officials strive to reach higher ground. We almost reach for higher ground. Americans want to do the right thing. We want to make the world a better place. Stop the hate. Vote. Yeah, and then we need to keep going at it, because many times we put people that should never be in position of power. A lot of the wars we fought did not have to. So much to say about that, but I don't want to go in that way. But the next one that I have is Oprah, and that's a YouTube video. I think I'm gonna put the link of that video in the description. That's from Brian Tyler Cohen, okay? And it's wow. Oprah shake up Pennsylvania Senate race with huge announcement. All right, let's listen to it, and I'm gonna stop in between. Hopefully there's no commercial.
It's up to the citizens of Pennsylvania, and of course it still is. But I will tell y'all this, if I lived in Pennsylvania, I would have already cast my vote for John Fetterman for many reasons.
Okay,
and
that's the other guy that was in that picture with Obama and Biden and that other gentleman, okay, where I say he represents the working class. He was wearing a sweater or hoodie. All right, so that's the Fetterman guy she's talking about. They were calling out for her to come out and denounce it. And I was like, she doesn't have to. People should know she's not controlling Dr. Oz. But it seems like this type of moves, people of prominent with voices need to say, you know, I'm still learning from this kind of thing, because a lot of minds are very empty.
That is not the only race that matters. If I was in North Carolina, as you mentioned, Sister Beasley there. And if I was in Florida, I'd be supporting Val Demings. If I was in Wisconsin, it would be Mandela Barnes. In Nevada, it would be Catherine Cortez Masto. And in Texas, Beto O'Rourke and Raphael Warnock. And
if Texas turned blue, that would be a huge, huge surprise. Huge surprise.
Incredible Stacey Abrams, of course, in Georgia.
Yeah.
So there are clear choices out there and some dynamic candidates who are working to represent the values.
That's the
this
thing.
Is what we're talking about.
Exactly.
The values that we hold dear.
Thank you.
The values of inclusion, the values of compassion and community that so many of us share. So use your discernment, which seems to be missing in a lot of our country today.
Yeah. That's exactly some of the things that I've been saying. Okay?
Use your discernment.
Not a second too soon.
All right?
Oprah
So I'm going to put the link of his video in the description. I didn't even finish watch the whole thing, but when I saw Oprah make that announcement, I said I need to share that with you. And I think it's in one of my videos where I did share that tweet that sort of mentioned Oprah to come out and, you know, to this how will you say it? To discredit Dr. Oz, because it was through her show people got to know Dr. Oz. And it seems like a lot of TV personalities are running for public office. And President Obama spoke about that in one of his speeches. It's like, we got a hand of people with, who held a TV show before, throwing the shade. All right, so that's it with that. Should I read some of the comment under his thing? Let's see what some people say. Okay, part of me wonders if Oprah regrets having promoted Dr. Oz on her show like she did, because he's proving himself to be an a-hole. I don't think so, because she saw him as a doctor, and there was something he could offer to people in terms of what she saw. And I think that's what I said before too. I don't think, but now he went astray. All right, I'm African American. I was having a conversation with my coworker the other day. She said she's not going to vote. I asked her why. She said because she's a single parent. Oh my God. Some people need to be reminded. Single parent, and by voting, that's not going to do anything to help her and her son. I didn't quite understand what she meant by. I told her that's what they want us to do. That's how they want us to feel. And for every vote we don't cast is a vote for them. This is the thing that I keep on saying. The Republican they always vote. And when you don't vote, it's one vote for them. Okay? She's right about that. I told her we came too far and went through too much to let anyone take our right or voice from us. But it scares me to think how many people think like her. Yep. Oprah taking Dr. Oz was probably one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Okay, my wife and I are both lifelong Republican who always voted Republicans, except for the last presidential election when I voted Biden for president and was shook that my wife did the same. We recently submitted our mail-in ballot and for the first time voted all Democrats, and shockingly, my wife did the same. Okay, we are disgusted with how corrupt the Republicans have become. And the thing is that it's not out of the blue. I'm glad, okay, it's better than ever, better than never. I'm glad some people see it. Like I've said, when you look at videos leading up to 2020 election, some of the things I was sharing with you where people saying, I'm not voting for Republican, but this is my reason. I was like, for that? You're not voting for Republican? But okay, I'll take that, better than nothing. Some crazy reasons they gave. Okay? But it wasn't out of the blue. It's been going on. A lot of African Americans have been telling you guys, have been warning you. But because it wasn't you didn't care to see what we were warning you about. That's the problem.
I do. I mean, this is immediately was my first thought. This could be a problem.
You think when we see the injustice that is happening, we're only thinking of ourselves. But us, many of African American, may not be all of us. Okay, let me not put everybody under the same umbrella. Majority of African American, when they see the wrong, the injustice, no matter what race, what religion, whatever it may be, but as long it is injustice, we speak up. We say it's foul, it's not fair. Why do we see that? Because many of these things happen to us, so we do not want it to happen to someone else. That's the the difference between many races that's in the US. Always African American seems to be, okay, this is my presumption, my humble opinion, it seems to be majority of time African American is the one who's speaking against the injustice that is happening to other race or religion or ethnicity, you name it. But for some reason, again, my humble opinion, from just looking and analyzing things that I've seen happening, but when it is one of us, one African American, it seems to be it's always our fault for being in this particular situation that we in, when many times and time over we're trying to avoid. Okay, let's look at, for instance, what happened in Florida with Trayvon Martin. A skittle. Some of the comments you'll be hearing You were reading on the thing. You're like, what happened if it was your kid? How would you feel? This kind of thing. All right. So let me not go too deep into that. I've said enough. Okay. So I just wanted to share with you these political things that's going on in the US. And, you know, in the UK, they're not going to hand you the type of healthcare that you wish to keep the NHS, because I think in my last video I sort of bring it up slightly. So don't be surprised when you go to a doctor, you pretty much become bankrupt. Okay, so because the US have that, we're giving you the warning. Okay, so the things that you need, okay, not want, that you need, you have to fight for it. They're not gonna give it to you. What they will do, which was one of the comments that I read, which makes perfect sense, is that they'll give you what you want. Okay, what you want to hear, what you want to see, what you want to feel, they'll give you that. But what you really need, okay, food, shelter, clothing, you know, you can pay for your heating bills, this kind of thing, what you really need, they're not gonna give it to you. All right, so that's my warning for some of our UK friends, I would say. All right, so the US is going the same thing, the same boat, but we are fighting. Just look at some of my old videos, especially the ones leading up to the 2020 election. Some of the things that I was saying, okay, still in the same page, same thing. The US and the UK was going through the exact same thing. But the only difference is when it comes to vote, American fought. American fought, but the UK, they show the people in power gave you the shiny object, the squirrel. That's what it is, the squirrel.
So that I may talk, squirrel.
You see? The people in power gave you the shiny object, the squirrel. That's what it is, the squirrel.
You desired squirrel!
You see? They get distracted. You completely forgot all about your needs and all of that. Okay? So that said, let's do a prayer. I'm exactly an hour and 4 minutes. Okay. What should we pray for? What should we pray about? What should we pray? Prayer for truth, prosperity. Let's do peace and survival. I don't know why that word survival. Okay, let's see what come up. I never really put this as a prayer, but okay, let's something tell me this one. Let's see what this one has to. Okay, as the dawn breaks on a new year, let us give thanks for all we hold dear, our health, our family, our friends. Let us release our grudge, our anger, and our pains, for these are nothing but binding chains. Binding chains. Let us live each day in the most loving ways, the good conscious way. Let us serve all who are in need, regardless of race, color, or creed. Very interesting, because some of the things I just mentioned. Let us keep God of our own understanding in our hearts, and to chant God's name each day. Let us lead the world from darkness to light, from falsehood to truth, and from wrong to right. Let us remember that we are all one, embracing all, discriminating against none. May your year be filled with peace, prosperity, and love. May God's blessing shower upon you and bestow upon each of you a bright, healthy, and peaceful new year. All right, so I think that was good, even though it's saying for new year, but some of the things it mentioned, it makes sense to some of the things I mentioned on some of the tweet. Okay, so that's it. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. New subscribers, welcome. That's it.
Nothing but the future left for you until we build up
me, it's an added member of the family. It's another team player as part of the bigger team. And for all of us, all we want to do is be able to carry out the right engagements, carry out our work, and try and encourage others and the younger generation to be able to see the world in the correct sense, rather than perhaps having a distorted view.